Once again, we're staying in our office layout underscore 3.dwg file. And we're staying in that area above the office building in the model tab in the drawing as well. We're going to be taking a look at arrays in AutoCAD. Now, there's three types of arrays. There's rectangular, polar, and path. And each one performs a different methodology within your AutoCAD drawing. Now, the array command is a great way of copying, but it's an enhanced copy with lots of variables. So a rectangular array will allow you to space the copying of the objects that you're arraying, etc., etc. So let's jump into that and see how these arrays work. What we're doing is we're setting up some nice privacy planting around the decking area just above the building there in the floor plan. So you'll notice we've got a little plant all on his lonesome over here at the moment. And what we're going to do, we're going to rectangular array that particular plant first and build a nice privacy hedge of plants vertically so that people, when they're over here, can't see the decking area behind the office. So the array command is on the modify panel. So home tab on the ribbon and into the modify panel. There's array there. Click on the flyout. You want rectangular array. You'll be prompted to select the objects you want in the rectangular array. So that's our little plant there. Click on it. Just press enter to confirm the selection. And you'll see it gives you a default there of 4 by 3. So if you look at that, we've got 3 rows, 4 columns. Now, the lovely thing about this is I now have a contextual tab on the ribbon called Array Creation, highlighted in blue there. So I can change the columns and the row settings of my rectangular array. You can ignore levels, by the way. That's all to do with 3D arrays. Now you'll notice at the moment that we've got 4 columns and 3 rows. I'm going to change the number of rows to 10. So if I type in 10 and press enter, that updates. Now it's a bit thick, that hedge. 4 is a bit too much on the columns. So we'll jump into the columns and we'll type 2 and press enter. So that updates accordingly. Now it's spaced them in a bit of a weird way there. It's just used a default setting. So we could easily tweak the between values to 550 there. And we'll do the same here as well. We'll put 550 there. Each time just press enter when you make the necessary changes. Now, the good thing about arrays now in AutoCAD is, by default, associative is switched on when you place an array. So if I click on the green tick now and close the array, if I hover over this, it's all one object. It's a rectangular array. Now, the problem I have is it's on the wrong layer. So you notice walls was the current drafting layer. So our array has gone on the wrong layer. So let's change that layer first. Make sure that we're using the right layer as the current layer. So change that to plants. Click on your array. And because it's all one object, you can jump back to the home tab, back to the drop down, select plants like so. Hit escape a couple of times. Job done. So that is now all on the layer plants. That whole array is on the layer plants. Very, very useful. Now, the good thing is that's all one object. So if I needed to move that now, I could move it all as one array rather than a whole load of different plants. Let's take a look now at the polar array. Now, we've got a nice circular bed here for planting. We've got a nice plant there. So I'm going to go to the modify panel again, click on the array flyout and select polar array. I select the plant like so, and then I just press enter to confirm. Now, it needs the center point of the array, which will be the center point of the circle. Jump down to your object snaps here. Click on the flyout and make sure that node is off. We don't need that on anymore at the moment. Just in case it interferes with anything, there might be some nodes on the drawing. Just a good idea to turn that one off. Click on the little arrow again like so. Now, the center of the array is the center of the circle. Just touch on the circle. There's the center snap. Left click. So it defaults to 6. They are associative. Notice associative is on. You can rotate the items so that they're aligning with the circle as well. But we want a few more. So let's go to items here. Let's change that to, say, 12 and press enter. That's better. It's nice and dense now. And obviously there'll be some flowers in the center of that with the bushes around. All looks nice and neat and tidy. Now I can Rotate the items if I want to. If I turn that off, notice they change. Rotate the items again. Can you see that? There's a slight change there. For the plants, it doesn't really matter. But if you were using a geometric shape, let's say a rectangle or a hexagon, and you were polar arraying them, you might want them all to remain static. So you might not want them to rotate in the direction of the polar array. Click on Close Array, and if you hover over that now, you'll see it is a polar array on the layer Plants. Last but not least, we're going to add a nice path array down this spline to camouflage the decking on the right-hand side of the building. So again, Modify panel, click on the Array flyout and select Path Array. Now, we're going to select the object first, which is our little plant, like so, and press Enter to confirm. Then it will want the path. Make sure you select at this end of the path, not the other end. And as you can see, it's dropped those in, and you'll notice now that you've got an option. You can go up here to Properties, and I can divide, or I can measure. So if I look at the divide setting, for example, number of items is 17. So that's divided it exactly into 17 segments. If I went to measure, it's a distance now between, which is at the moment 568. If I change that to 550 and press enter, you'll notice it changes slightly because there's no 550 there for it to expand further along that spline. So what I'll do is I'll go back to divide, and we'll leave it at 17 because then we've got a plant at each end of the spline. Close the array, and if we hover over that one, you'll see it's a path array again on the layer Plants. So that's your arrays in AutoCAD. Very quick and easy to use. You put the right variables in, and as you can see, you can get some very interesting effects and methodologies there in AutoCAD using the array command.